going to see her today. We're just meeting the guy who will be doing her surgeries after she's born. We fully anticipate that she will have at least one surgery before she...
Two.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, surely they'll do 2 surgeries before she comes home. Maybe even 3.
Depends on what they do with...
Yeah, her kidney.
Yeah.
Potentially 3 surgeries before she even comes home. We will eventually have to meet with general surgery and urology. Today's neuro.
Today's neuro.
Today's neuro.
Thank you.
Hi.
Amazing.
Wait, did you grab my egg bites?
I'll back there. It's fun.
The line went quickly though.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go to the line?
Nope.
There's like 10 cars now.
Well,
So I couldn't decide what I wanted. I got iced matcha, but then I also got hot chai. Because I'm pregnant and I don't know what I want. Oh, glorious. Bacon egg bites. That was only like a 2-minute delay.
could have been way worse.
Way worse.
We're back in.
Oh, we're good. We're gonna be early-ish.
Might have to do a little joggy jog to the...
There are no joggy jogs to be had with this pregnant
You can
body.
do it. I'll carry you. I'll carry you, put you on my shoulders. Run you through the parking lot. I think this Ford Focus is going to do it.
That's not a Ford Focus.
That is a Ford Focus.
Baby, I drove a Ford
That's
Focus.
a Ford Focus.
That's a Ford Escape.
It's not a Ford Escape. That's one of the bodies of the Ford Focus. Don't at me on this one.
No, Escape.
Escape? Dang it! I hate myself. Clip this. Clip the whole thing.
I'm not
Clip
clipping
the whole
that
thing.
out. I'm not clipping that out.
Oh, my goodness, you're so tired.
Who sings that, Josh?
Whitney.
Who told you that?
What?
Who told you that?
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to me?
Yours is right there.
I almost died. I almost
Why?
died just now.
Why?
Sheer panic.
Why?
I thought something happened in my coffee.
I wanted the iced matcha. It sounded great, but then the chai sounded so warm and comforting. In this moment, I am feeling the matcha, but I feel like when we're in there with neuro, I'm gonna want some comfort.
You're going to be basically amongst your peers in this space. I'm the one
What?
that should be socially anxious.
I
in
am
this
not
environment.
amongst.
You are
those.
much closer to neurosurgeon than I am. Okay? Much closer.
Do you feel like, do I do a good job though of including you? My biggest concern is always, I never want to talk over you.
No, I catch on to concepts really fast. Ironically, I haven't felt like anything was completely over my head yet.
We've had good doctors. Like we've had really. I don't feel like, other than that first day, because but I think we were both in such shock and it was so traumatic. I think that was mainly why you weren't processing when our first doctor.
You mean the day they stuck a small sword into your stomach?
Yeah, that day. When you were on speakerphone, I could tell that you weren't processing the way that I was. But again, like you were on speakerphone, like you weren't in there.
No, yeah, I was just absorbing. I also had
Right.
a toddler in the background, and
Yeah.
I was canceling calls and multitasking a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was processing. But our doctors so far have been great.
But they've done a good job because they know my background and they know that it's different than yours. And they don't speak just to me. They do a good job, I feel like, including you in the conversation.
Yeah, it might take me 10 times to learn to pronunciate a thing.
We don't do
Please don't.
Nissan or Audi or whatever you are.
that was a big mix-up. It was a big mix-up.
Are they the same company? No?
Bigger mix-up.
That I'll find out.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, you keep the other one. It's only fair. It all comes full circle, babe.
The iced matcha, not as addictive as the green tea frappuccino.
What does this even taste like? Can you try?
Yeah. Frappuccino is better, but it has like 10 billion pounds of sugar in it. But the green tea frap with whipped cream, it hits. Before I was a coffee lover, I was that girl. Like, I want my green tea Frappuccino with whip.
Can you do that whole segment?
No.
With them?
You get one shot.
Low key, that's a banger at Coachella. I can totally see like a billion people just screaming, I want my green tea Frappuccino with.
Somebody's gonna take this. Charlie Puth is gonna take this.
Oh God, yeah.
And like,
what's up, Charles? Charlie boy. Take this sound, boy.
Take this sound. Make it a banger.
It's cute when you say banger. Can you say banger one more time? Say it.
No. Whenever you say it's cute, it's like, oh, you're so cute.
That's what I'm called though. I just don't recall a time where I've heard you say banger.
I don't think that's supposed to happen.
Not legal.
That's not legal.
Not legal.
No.
Illegal activity. Insubordinate.
Marcelly likes green tea. Hello.
She's gonna be bougie. Oh.
This time is accounting for traffic, right?
Yes. Which, this is bad, right? But like, it could be worse. This could have happened
like,
a mile and a half, 2 miles ago.
I'm just sitting here thinking about how I used to do this every freaking day when I was pregnant with Liam. I was also very nauseous.
Just a wee bit.
I used to shove snacks in my scrub pockets. Like a pack rat. Or a chipmunk.
I could totally see this.
I literally, yeah, peanut butter crackers. What are these? What are these?
They're typically like service vehicles, like electricians and stuff. I don't know why they have that thing the way that they have it. But
It
whatever.
looks like a small prison. It's very bizarre.
It's a weird cross between a Hertz and ambulance.
A what now? Hertz are a form of frequency. A hearse is a thing that you carry dead bodies in. You measure frequency in hertz.
Fine. This will come back to you.
It always does. I mean, I'll have a moment.
And when you do, I will be there.
Here's a fly. We follow directions. I don't know if that was my favorite part of that video, or if
And like closing it up after.
and closing it up after and me being like,
you're actively reading directions, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm doing the thing.
I'm just doing the thing. Do read directions when
it's important to. There's also some things where I'm just like, I'm not going to take the time to overly analyze and stress about this.
What's that like?
What?
What's that like? What's that life like?
Pretty great. Pretty great. Because most things just don't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but how do you shut it off? The only way I shut it off is through meds.
I don't know. Just, I have this moment where I'm like, is this worth stress?
And it just shuts off.
And if the answer is no, I'm like, no longer care about this thing. And if somebody judges me for it and they're stressed, I'm like, I hope that you have a great time with this. My life will move on without this.
But how does it just shut off?
Sometimes it
You don't
doesn't.
perseverate over it?
No, not really. So what good's that gonna do me?
I didn't say it was good. I didn't say it was good.
I'm awesome. I'm awesome,
You are.
but not perfect.
Right.
You're welcome.
Right.
That's about it.
I like my meds. You ready?
Ready?
Okay. There we go. Went to the wrong building.
No, it's just a full tour.
Full tour.
Full tour.
Okay, we just got done talking to our doctor. He was amazing. Now we are hungry.
Chick-fil-A.
We're gonna go to Chick-fil-A, or as our son calls it,
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A.
Oh, I have to pull that off. It's freaking me out.
You took everybody's receipts?
Yeah, it's irresponsible. How many freaking psychopaths are in the world that just left them hanging?
Left
there?
the receipts hanging. Do you know where you're going?
We're gonna go back to your place. Are you recording? Yes!
Yes! Do you want to grab Chick-fil-A from that one, or do you want...
Do you want to just go back up? Breakfast ends at 10:30.
Oh yeah, kidding you. I will be so pissed if we get up there and I can't have a freaking breakfast thing. First of all, I really liked him.
And he was great.
He was fabulous. Here's where, like, I understand why parents get frustrated. I think it's because there's a lack of kind of understanding of like where everybody's area of expertise is, and differences between doctors being like conservative versus less conservative in their approach. Like our radiologist, all she sees is imaging. Like that's all she's looking at, and that's all she has to go off of.
Right.
So she has to tell us what she sees and all the possible, what they call differential diagnoses, which are all the other possible things that could be in play. Like she's not doing her job if she's not doing her job if she doesn't tell us all of those things. And then perinatal, I'm gathering, is kind of the same way, where they're like telling us all of the possibilities. But he's a surgeon. Like he's not gonna cut into her brain unless absolutely necessary. Which, right, like we don't want that.
That's responsible.
That's responsible. We had to stop for Chick-fil-A. I feel like I should have known this, but I just didn't think about it. So you have ventriculomegaly, which basically just means that the ventricles are enlarged. But he's not going to give the diagnosis of hydrocephalus unless that is indicated. And I didn't think of those as two separate things. So what I gathered, and you can kind of tell me if this is what you gathered too, is that she could have ventriculomegaly and not need a shunt. That just kind of, I guess I just didn't really think about that, but I do think that it's odd that her numbers have increased so much, but that could just be her brain. What I'm gathering is that he's not going to put in a shunt unless the fluid in her brain and the size of her ventricles cause what's called an increase in intracranial pressure. So the pressure inside her brain, like unless that pressure is increased to a dangerous level or a compromising level, he's not going to put a shunt in.
Right.
Which I guess, like, I just didn't think about that being even a possibility because her scans have shown an increase every single time. This is where I kind of understand when parents are like, oh, don't believe everything the doctors tell you. Oh, this is this. And I'm like, it's not that I don't believe everything they're telling me. I think that each doctor by nature has their different areas of expertise, and each doctor is going to be different in how conservative they are versus not.
Yep.
I appreciated the fact that he was very, very, very hesitant to even classify her as a baby with hydrocephalus, much less lissencephaly. You know what's gonna, he said this too, and this is what we were talking about last night, is that we still have to get the whole exome sequence back. that will probably tell us a ton, in the sense that if she has particular genetic markers for lissencephaly,
Right.
then obviously like then we have more reason to be anxious about that. But he was like, I got the impression that he didn't want us to be overly anxious about that right now. Did you get that impression?
Yeah.
Yeah. If she doesn't have those genetic markers, then that will be really encouraging to me. You know, like it won't necessarily mean that she doesn't have some sort of rare genetic disorder, but if she doesn't have the markers for that specifically, I think I will have a little bit more hope in regards to her functional level.
Well, I'm just saying in a way that makes sense to my technical brain. If she doesn't have those lines of code, then there's no virus.
Then there's no virus. I don't like the virus term. If she doesn't have that line of code.
If she doesn't have that line of code, there's no malware.
There we know the Dandy Walker is confirmed. The Dandy Walker variant is confirmed, for people that are confused. That is not what's in question. What's in question is why she has multi-system abnormalities. And that's why we did the genetic testing. Is it weird to kind of like hold out?
Back on the hopeful side?
Right. I feel like I'm doing this when it comes to...
If there was anybody else but him at this point, like this is all he does.
I know.
He's clearly incredibly intelligent.
Very, very intelligent. So I'm still anticipating that she's gonna go to see him before she comes home.
Makes sense.
Now I just wonder about our other surgeons.
Like what we're gonna do,
Yeah, like logistically, what does that look like? And I'm kind of disappointed. Like I had hoped that we could just do both of those meetings together, but they never called. If I hadn't been so scatterbrained and just like in survival mode, then I would have called them last week to try to get both of those scheduled on the same day.
Jeez, man. Jeez. Unbelievable. You know what? Because of that, now we're gonna have to make 2 trips, and that's gonna go over our gas budget for the month. Unbelievable. Just the audacity.
The audacity. How do you feel?
I appreciate his perspective, and I think it's a combination of his age and tenure that helps with some of my perspective too. Like the minute that he saw her imaging, he was like, I could tell in his reaction that his initial, that his gut, which is based on his experience, was I'm not gonna commit to X before I see her.
It's good.
Which is great.
The Walker variant is a continuum.
Right.
So he said it's not the best, like her imaging is not the best that it could be, but it's not the worst that it could be either. So like in terms of function, we're really not gonna know.
Right.
So like until she's here.
It's a lot to process.
Well, I just again, like, am I crazy for being more back on like a hopeful train?
I don't think so. Here's where I'm at right now. We are connecting with all the really smart people that she's gonna need in order to have the best shot at a really great life. He was great. He's the big one, frankly. Like, he's like out of everything, like her brain is the biggest thing that we're concerned about. It's not the only thing, but it's the biggest.
In terms of her functional level.
Yeah, in terms of just the impact on her life. So the fact that that went well as it did, and we're not walking out of there with like
we were with the MRI.
Like we're not walking out of there with him being like, hey, like I just need you guys to get prepared. Like this is what we're looking at. Like he didn't walk in with any of that. It was I don't want to make any. I'm not gonna make any definitive statements until I see her, based on what I'm seeing, and we can go from there. But it is funny, like the little nuances of like, God bless them, they hold on to their numbers. Like
Right?
It's just like like acknowledging like they're smart people, but there's more to this than just the numbers.
Right.
Is how that comes across.
Which I appreciate that though.
Makes sense.
It does make sense because for me, having been in a developmental functional realm, like
not every kid is the same.
That spoke to me because I was like, I hate the numbers. I hate the numbers. I have so many kids that when you look at their numbers on their functional outcome measures, like if you just look at their numbers and see that they fall in the lowest percentile, you expect, based just on that, the worst picture. And they're kids that just function differently. So, that totally spoke to me where I think that did say a lot. That said a lot. That said a lot.
That was a very instinctive response from me.
It explains why people get frustrated, and I get why they get frustrated.
Yeah.
And I get why they're like, don't believe everything that they tell you. I know that you're all trying to work together as best as you can.
Well, that's the thing. Think of this, in terms of you have a bunch of people in the kitchen, right? Not everybody's the chef,
right?
But if something happens on one end of the kitchen and it's not communicated all the way down to the chef, you can end up with a really bad plate. I'm a little bucket of knowledge over here.
Well, I mean, so to be fair, I think that everybody is communicating better than I expected them to, because he dictated all of that right there in front of us.
Which, by the way, I know all the tech behind all that stuff.
Honestly, I've never had a doctor do that before, where they dictate right there in front of the parent. But he was like, I'm going to dictate right here in front of you, and if I say anything wrong, then you just tell me.
No, it's great.
It's like,
it's
okay.
Getting input from your patients.
He talks so fast.
Oh yeah. He
said he's a picture guy, and Josh went, yes.
Well, the minute that he started, the minute that he introduced himself, I was like, okay, I know this guy.
I like you. So, waiting game.
Waiting game. Just a little bit longer.
So, 29 weeks. The goal is term. The goal is to get me to term. If not, if not 39
That's cute.
That was cute. If not 39 weeks, then at least 37. So that's the goal. We'll hopefully meet with urology and I guess general soon. Yeah. Alright, so let's go get the fluid. Not our worst visit.
Long shot. My worst visit. This could have been a much more depressing car ride.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm yawning a lot. Every 1 second.
Okay.
Adios.